Okay, when multiplying polynomials, there are a couple special relationships that you need to be aware of. The first one that I'm going to talk about is when you look inside two sets of parentheses, so this binomial, at first glance it looks like they're the exact same thing, but one has a plus sign, one has a subtract sign, even though they both have a 6x, they both have a 7. That relationship, those things are conjugates. And the very cool thing about conjugates, hopefully that you remember from simplifying radicals or imaginary numbers, is that when you multiply, you only have to multiply the first times the first, second times the second, and in between them, a positive times a negative is a negative. So you end up with 6x times 6x is 36x squared. Positive 7 times negative 7 is negative 49, or subtract 49. And that's it. If you can remember that, that is all the work that you would ever have to show. Okay, the next relationship, special relationship, is when there's a binomial squared. And that happens a lot. So it's very useful. First thing about binomial squared, let's say this was x minus 1 squared. Well, that's a quadratic. The opposite of negative 1 is positive 1. So right there at 1. This quadratic, what's special about these relationships is the graph of the quadratic, it only touches the x-axis in one location. But let me go ahead and get back to multiplying. So there's a special relationship that instead of rewriting this as x plus y times x plus y and then doing the double distributive, you can just say, oh, this is a binomial squared. That means the first term gets squared, and this middle thing right here, it's going to be 2 times that first term times the second term. And then it's going to be, you're going to add the second term squared. Whoops, forgot I wrote stuff down there. So the first term is x, so it's going to be x squared plus 2 times the first times the second, plus the second thing squared. So x squared plus 2x, x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. So let's actually do an example where it would actually come in handy. So let's say this was 4x plus 5 squared. We're going to follow this pattern. So the first term is 4x squared, then it's 2 times the first times the second, so 4x times 5 plus, here's the second term, 5 squared, and then you just simplify. So 16x squared, 4x times 5 is 20x, times 2 is 40x, and 5 squared is 25. So you can go directly from that, whoops, to this. You don't have to do all that stuff. If you remember that pattern, you can go directly from here to here. That's it for this one.